This is Drop Tent Media Network.
Seriously, Dad?
Seriously, Dad? Two father comedians out of Philadelphia. Seriously, Dad?
Dad? Seriously?
Dad?
Seriously? Seriously?
Yo, welcome back. Season 2, Seriously Dead. Hey.
Hey, we're back. And I'm remote. I'm in this beautiful background that all of our remote.
I love what you did with the place. Looks good. I like the fireplace, man. It looks really, really good.
We'll just say this is the Airbnb we rent for our guests when they can't be in studio.
There you go. I like that. That's a good sell. I am in studio and I'm in your seat actually. Just taking over.
Comfortable, right?
It's very nice. I think it's still warm from the last time you're in this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Here we are, Seriously Dad, and getting ready for the summer. I mean, summer's like a week away. I don't know. I thought summer kind of started. I guess it didn't start really because it's kind of cold out. I don't really know.
I mean, if you're a teacher, May has 7,342 days in it. So I feel like it's just like Sisyphus. We're just rolling the rock, but we're not
up the hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, you guys are done at the end of May, pretty much?
So yeah, June 7th is our last official day, but it's one of those things that every week just feels like Groundhog's Day. It just feels like you're not making any progress, but then all of a sudden, as soon as like May 31st comes, it's June 7th will be here like tomorrow. So it's like I hate that. Do you ever have that when you wake up at a time like last night? I didn't have anybody in the house. My wife's away. The girls were at my mom's.
Nice.
And like I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I'm like, why is it that when you have something to do and you wake up, you just want to fall back. You could easily
you snooze, you're tired. It's a big deal. And then when you have nothing, you're like, well, I'm here.
So frustrating. Like there'll be times when I have school in the morning, I'll wake up like 2 minutes before my alarm and really want another 2 hours.
Yeah.
I hate that it works that way. That's the most annoying thing ever.
That is, I agree with you. You're just like,
I want summer because then I can go play golf. You know what I mean? I can do some more like leisure. You're a golfer, right? Why don't we golf?
I'll play golf right now. And you know what? When it's time to play golf, I don't even need an alarm clock, bro. When it's time to play golf, there's no. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to go. You don't have to wake me up. I'm already there.
Polishing my clubs.
Exactly. Cleaning the clubs. Make sure you got all your tees, all your balls. That's what golf was about. Speaking of golf, that's really good. So I had this thing happen. This was an interesting thing for me. So, I'm pretty chill guy. You know what I mean? I don't get too excited. I don't get too angry. So my girls live on a golf course and they play in this field next to the golf course. So I'm there playing with them. And I know that there's someone on the tee box. So I kind of walk out from around this like kind of cove thing where they're playing. And I wave to the guy, just give him like hey, we're over here. Now, if anyone plays golf, they know that's universal for there's humans here. Let me know if you're going to hit me with a golf ball. So the guy hits the golf ball way too close to me, to the girls, etc. And for like the first time in 40 years, one of the first times I really got angry. Like, when you feel the anger come up from your gut and then it comes behind your eyes and you're like, I could kill someone right now.
I middle school. I get that feeling every morning. Yeah, I get it. No,
is that how you start your day when you go to attendance? You're just getting angry.
I have homeroom for 30 minutes to start with like, these guys are like going to be future criminals. Like they're just like riding a bull. So I feel that rage. Now I got to ask you a question. Now, like, give me the tee box. Now, how far away were they playing from like the regulation of the golf course?
See, now that's a great question because there's not like a good set divide between like the course and like the neighborhood. There's zero divide.
Yeah.
So there's like this open field and there's some coverage, but the way the hole is set up, you end up hitting it towards the houses and like where the kids play. And I don't care about the houses at all. If you buy a house on a golf course, you're asking for it.
Yeah.
I don't care. But hitting a golf ball towards a human, a young lady, some young girls, that's very dangerous. One of those cracks you in the temple. It's
no, no doubt.
Yeah,
I just
you're not.
It's just one of those things too, though. If it's like typical golfing hours, like that's hard. Like who's do you not like if you buy that house and you got to say, all right, well, we better have a killer front yard.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because that's tricky. Yeah. Because if I was the golfer and then you like lost it on me and I didn't have because did he have a ridiculous tee shot? Like, or was
He wasn't in the fairway. He had no second shot. Let's put it that
He
way.
wasn't
There was
out
no
of
second
bounds.
shot. He was in the roots and the trees by a fence. He was over in the where he shouldn't have been. He
Okay.
hit a bad shot.
okay?
But really, first of all, if the whole dog leg to the right, that would be better. But it dog legs towards the houses. Horrible course design there.
Yeah.
It should turn the other way. Is really would cure everything. But there's not. They don't put a fence. There's no fence. There's not even a sign on the first tee that says like, "Hey, young people play over here. Be careful."
Yeah.
And I called them about that once, and they're not interested in putting that in.
No.
They don't give a shit
I
about
think is it that the homeowners could potentially put something up? There must be something you could do, like a net or something, that if you were that concerned, I mean, you know, if they're that concerned about it. But like, it's one thing on golf etiquette. Like, I've done it where people will say, "Go hit off the tee." The group in front of you, they're far enough, and then you just
Smoke it, right?
Smoke it, and it like goes close, and then I'm kind of like, "Oh, I'm a dick."
Yes.
But like, if those guys were just playing, and we're not like pro golfers out there. It's not a pro course, I'm assuming. It's
far from a pro course.
So like, then it's kind of one of those things that it's like, it sucks, but I know sometimes the Papa Bear, you flip a switch.
Just happened. It just boom, and I'm so relaxed. Like, nothing bothers me. I'm so relaxed. I said a curse word. I threw the ball back at this individual, and then I had words with him, and I was like, pretty much like, "What's wrong? Like, what's your deal?" But also, I did walk out and wave to him to indicate there's people over here.
Yeah,
that was the other thing.
So prior to this, did he acknowledge your wave?
I thought he did. He said,
so
but then he said he didn't see me.
He didn't see the light, and now he's just running for like 2 extra minutes. Yeah, that's a tough situation. So it's interesting because. And parents, like to your point, so I was at a mic, I won't say where, but I was at a place that now has security because a woman who had been going up doing stand-up, or at least open micing it, had been bringing her son and her husband or boyfriend or somebody. But the son had like that, had headphones on, was playing on a tablet, had been coming for a couple weeks, wasn't a big deal, whatever. Okay. It was weird that they were seating like themselves right by the stage so everybody could kind of see them, because I feel like that's kind of weird for comics. Like, they're trying to work out stuff. They don't need to be seeing a 7-year-old kid wondering if that kid can be hearing them or not.
Right.
It's just not, and so it seemed to me that the woman had been baiting the comics for weeks now, because anytime any of them dropped the R word, she then, if it was before her set, would get up there and like try to lambaste them.
Lay into them a little bit.
And not even tell like a joke about it. And it would just make the room awkward. And so I think she thought she was trying to reset a bone or something. I was like, sweetheart, if you think you're going to change an open mic room, you're out of your mind.
Of all places. I mean, that's a cesspool of the world.
And so this past week, she had gone up, or it was 2 weeks ago, she had gone up. Same thing happened. After she got off, she stayed with the kid and the husband. Somebody else got up. Made mention of that she was doing this thing all the time and that he was scared of her, but then he inadvertently dropped the R word like 30 seconds later in his set, and she gets up and storms out. Well, the host goes up to her in the hallway, and I'm going to go to the bathroom because I have like 2 people before me. So I'm going to the bathroom. I'm walking away. I hear him saying, "Well, listen, it's an open mic, First Amendment. Like, we get it." And she snaps. And she punches this guy square in the face, breaks his glasses, then spider monkeys on him. And she's wearing a dress. So that thing's like flying everywhere. And now they pulled the kid into like a side room or the kitchen. He's crying. And they have the cooks trying to pull her off of him. And the cops had to get called. It was like.
Was this in the Philadelphia area?
Insanity. I'm not telling you where it was. But I'm just saying it's insanity.
Wow.
And I was just like, and then got banned, for life, whatever. But like, she was a mama bear but it was almost like she was baiting it. So that's why it made me think of this, where it was like this scene, like you had acknowledged and you tried to say it, and then they had hit it in, and then you snapped in the same way that woman had set it up. She kind of set it up. She set it up
to be able to see red, right? Well, so the solution is, I'm just telling the girls, get out of that field, go play somewhere else. Done is done. And break all the windows you want, because I don't care about the houses. You live on a golf course. There's windows. You're gonna get smoked. But as far as the kids go, I'm just sending them to another field. But this is why that's a really good story. And this is the question: when is Papa Bear, Mama Bear? When is it like when we get angry? What is too far? Like that, what you just described with that lady punching somebody and jumping on them, a little too much.
Yeah,
I would say.
Well, and that's the thing. So there was a quote that I saw come across Instagram that I think kind of applies to this. And it was apparently a quote from Maya Angelou, who I don't think it was, necessarily related to parenting, but I think it is.
Yeah.
And it says, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better.
Okay.
And that to me in a nutshell is parenting, because it's like, listen, you got to go off your gut. And so that's what I think is happening here, where we're talking about going off our gut. But then at some point, if you've crossed that line, now hopefully you
got to know a little bit
far like she did.
Yeah.
Right. Like you didn't strike the guy. Right.
No. Well, but see that. And then so on the way home, as I'm driving home, I'm just playing every scenario that you could possibly play in your head. And I know stories of people where something may have happened to their kid and then they make it physical. There's actually, holy shit, there's a guy on Instagram right now who was talking about jumping the father of the girl who bullied his kid, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's take an instance like that. Let's just say hypothetically, that guy now ends up in jail for 2 years. Assault, premeditated, aggravated, so whatever these things are. Did he make the right decision? Because now let's say he gets 2 years. Now it's 2 years, no kids. He's not seeing his kids at all. Right. And if they want to see him, they got to go and pick up the phone and put their hand on the glass and do all that bullshit. Right.
Yep.
That's not a good parenting move. Right. No. Like you thought you were doing the right thing. You came in hot and now you fucked up.
Dude, I've been watching a lot of women's basketball recently, as I think the whole world has.
I think everybody has, yeah.
And Dawn Staley, who I think was Temple's coach for a while or whatever.
Yeah, that's Philly all day.
Yeah, she's great. She has a couple autistic kids, as a matter of fact. But she mentioned in an interview that she really thinks that parents are messing up because they're not letting their kids experience the hardships of life. So I think, to answer your point about that scenario with that guy, I think, in my opinion, it's like, listen, like if your kids, bullies are a part of life, and it's one of those things that I don't know that John Wicking it like that. I think you're going to avenge something. It's not going to end, it's not going to end in a way that I think is going to help you be a better parent. And so.
And like the guy who gets on Instagram and says, me and my brother jumped this dude, yada. Like, welcome to the trauma center. The girl who watched her dad get beat up, that could be traumatizing. His kids can be traumatizing. And then you also set an example of like, hey, when people are picking on you, this is the best way to kind of handle it and do it. And I think things like that feel really good. Until you're sitting there going, Your Honor, I apologize, Your Honor. I know my actions were out of line, yada. And you're hoping they don't hit you with the book and take you away. And that's one of my biggest fears as a parent, is being removed from my kid's life. You know what I mean? And let's just say it is 2 years. What can you miss in 2 full years with your kids? You know what I mean? 4 to 6. That's a huge thing. That's a huge time to be missing, to be an idiot, my opinion.
No, I agree. Because, what do you get maybe they come visit you while you're in there against the glass, or you're writing letters, you're doing that. But like, what is you're, now you're constantly thinking about that every day for those however long. Yeah. I think that's the problem. We were too impulsive, that frontal lobe, the thing that makes us human and not animal, that's the problem. Some of us are given into that, or, whatever the case is happening, that some of us, maybe we're doing too many drugs now, or our brains are properly evolving. But like, that's middle school. I mean, that's okay for a middle schooler to do, but as an adult, like, at that point, then there's something wrong. And to my opinion, if it goes to that, because like in that scenario, nothing would have made me want to strike someone unless I was first struck. That's the only way that if I'm defending myself, then you teach your kid to defend themselves. You
always teach to defend yourself. Let me ask you this. If you witnessed someone physically harming your kid, do you think you would strike?
Oh yeah, game on. Well,
Right.
at that point, I think the it's to stop. It's one to stop it. Obviously from continuing in the moment.
Uh-huh.
At that point. But then, yeah, and I could see every one of us snapping, even myself included, who I'm a pacifist at all times. So
Mhm.
it would take a lot for me, but I think that would be enough. If somebody was striking my kid, yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah. That would be
because that would
that
be, I couldn't imagine a scenario in which you could ever justify. And I couldn't imagine a scenario where my kid would say, I mean, I know there's some kids out there that could say something that would get even an adult riled up enough. Because I've seen some of those kids with
kids are good. They're
they
good.
call it like ODD, oppositional defiant disorder, where they're wired to know the exact opposite of what the thing is to say to push your buttons like that.
Yeah.
And those kids, like, especially if you work in schools or, anything with early childhood education, you got to be trained to be like, listen, like those are words, right? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So it's like, we gotta take that philosophy and make it the adult version of that, which is like, there's no reason for words to ever lead to striking.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it. But I think physically, if you witness a grown up, not a kid, because you can't really be beating up on kids. But if you witness a grown up do something harmful to your child, you'd probably see red and go nuts. And then you would just hope.
I think any child. I mean,
well, then you just got to hope if you go in front of a jury of your peers, they have kids and they understand, right? That they're like, this guy was just acting out.
Yeah, I mean, you listen. If the people who wouldn't get it don't even show up for jury duty. You know what I mean?
Right? They're like, "Fucking arrest me! I'm not going to that jury duty."
They're not showing up for jury duty. So, have you had jury duty before?
I have had jury duty.
Have you actually been selected?
Yeah, I got selected on a really messed up case. Believe it or not, it was yes.
Can you talk about
it? Sure. I was actually not happy with the legal system, but it was there was a firearm involved. There was a shooting. There were children involved. So the guy had some issue with someone. He left. He came back with the gun and he went to shoot into an establishment and he struck a minivan that had a family in it. No one got hurt, but bullets went into the minivan that had kids in it. And we were finding out if that person was good or bad. And the criminal justice system actually let me down because there was a very small detail that we needed to iron out. And it was the color of the shirt that the kid was wearing and that was seen on the video. And when we were in the jury room deliberating, we asked to see the picture and the footage again, and they wouldn't let us see it. And that was like the thing. They wouldn't let us see it. Yeah. And it was
you're getting hot over a golf ball. These are bullets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
That's so funny that it's sort of in a roundabout way related.
Yeah.
You got to be the dad that was in that minivan. Must have been like, yo, I'm just trying to drive here.
Yeah. Bullets are coming. I mean, it was crazy because like it was one of those ones where like grown men were testifying and like crying and shit because, it was like, there was a kid. It was rough. It was not, but I was very upset with the justice system because I felt like they were taking away our ability to make a logical decision based on like not letting us see something that we had already seen. Sure, and also you can't take notes during the case. Did you know that?
Oh
no. So you're trying to keep all these things and you know how our brains work. You're not allowed to write anything down.
Is that really?
It was in Philadelphia. Yeah. Isn't that insane? Yeah. So like when you watch Law and Order and the guy's in the jury box, he's going, and he's writing shit down. Yeah, you can't do that in Philadelphia. That may be an NYPD New York thing. You can't do it in Philadelphia. They were not allowed to take notes. And then there was a guy who, as soon as we got out of the courtroom, he got in a little jury room and he started writing down notes so he could remember what was going on. And he got in trouble. And he said, "Well, you said we couldn't take notes out there. Why can't I take notes in here?" And then they removed him, gave him a talking to or whatever, and then brought him back in.
They reoriented him.
Yeah, he got visited. So,
all right. Well, serious question. How was the food? Did they order in every day? What are we talking?
They did order in. No. We went to Reading Terminal Market. No. We had to go pay for our own food.
Oh, you had to pay for your own food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. And then you just get what, $5 a day or
$7, I think they gave us.
And your civic duty. Your civic
duty, yeah. But as a result, I won't do jury duty ever again because I don't agree with this system.
What do you? But you still get? What do you just not show up?
I get the thing, and I do what you were just talking shit about. I just don't. Whatever. Whatever.
You're gonna go and be like, I don't trust the police.
I should just go and be like, "Guys, I don't think any of this is real." And
yeah, this is all a simulation.
yeah, this is all
birds are from the government.
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be great. You know, because there'll be someone who'd be like, "Oh, we want that guy."
Totally. Yeah, pick him. He's good. The simulation guy. I want that guy.
Yeah.
So here's another. Here's one. Here's a really good hypothetical. I think it's a good hypothetical, but you know, my mind's kind of on fire. All right.
We'll be back right after this message.
Hey, fans of Seriously Dad, we want to let you know that we have a live podcast opportunity come up. We're doing a comedy show. We're doing a live recording. And when better, the eve of Father's Day, June 15th. June 15th, this year, we're going to be at Soul Joel's in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Tickets are on sale right now. Go to souljoels.com for June 15th, 8 p.m. show. It's going to be me. It's going to be Albert Davis. We got Neil Wood from Drop 10 Media, our producer. We got special guests coming. We're going to have a great time. So get this for the father in your life. If you got a father, if you have a father, if you want to be a father, if you're not a father, get those tickets, souljoels.com. We'll see you on June 15th.
Seriously, Dad. Seriously.
Let's just say you, Jay, the father of two, let's say you go to the zoo, and while at the zoo, a kid falls into the polar bear exhibit or the hippos, whatever makes you happy, right? So now you're looking there, and there's a young person who's probably going to get hurt. Okay. Is it responsible as a father for you to go in there, save that person's life, and knowing there's a good chance you may die, but that kid will live with his or her family, living it up, and your kids are going to have no father? Well, they may have a father, but it won't be you for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think that I have a better chance with the hippos. I think we might hit it off. I feel like I might be able.
You like watermelon too? Holy shit!
Like, we might get it. I might get lucky. So no, yeah. I mean, that's a tough call. I think that's when the flight or fight in your brain kicks in, and like, you know, you're in a different gear. That's when you hear about the moms that like are able to
pick the car up off the kid and shit. Yeah,
you know. So it's like I feel like in that moment, things. Whenever I've been in a scenario where stuff like was life or death, or I've had a couple instances, it was like there was no choice. It just wasn't there wasn't a choice.
The reasoning,
you either do or you don't do in that moment. So you either freeze or you go in. And I've had a couple scenarios of like car accidents where like I stopped off, and one point I was there was a person who like you know, like if you go on 476, like the Northeast Extension, like you're going up to New York or whatever. Well, the median is kind of like a thin, big block of concrete. Well, some minivan, I guess they had fallen asleep because you could see there were like the car had been like scooting across of it and stopped, and it was stuck on the left lane against the median, this minivan. So I saw somebody pulled off. So I pulled off. It looked like it had been pretty recent, and the person was just out. They were just looked like, I don't know if they were unconscious or what. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, I decided to climb up on the hood of the car, and I had like my left foot on the hood, my right foot on the median.
Oh,
now,
wow.
This is like, so there's like tractor trailer.
Yeah, like if you fall on over the other side,
I'm like towards the other side in the median, and I'm like shoving. So then I'm, you know, in front of the driver. So I have my left hand on the windshield in front of the driver, and then I'm trying to reach through. The window was cracked a little bit. I ended up bruising my whole arm from just trying to shove it in to like, get to the lock. Couldn't. Some army guy had pulled off, threw me a bottle of water, and I like poured the bottle of water in the window, and they woke up, and then they like were in shock, but I was able to get their like finger to like guide them to like unlock it so then we could go into the passenger door. But like that was scary. You know what I mean? That was one different person, and you know, but I was like, and then there was another scenario when I was real young where a Camaro came flying up past me real fast, and then went around me to pass me, but there wasn't a passing lane. It was 2 lanes of oncoming traffic. And so then it tried to scoot in front of me. So I hit the brakes and then hopefully gave them a window to pull in.
Yeah.
They were going too fast that their back end slid out in as they were trying to come back into the lane. And I ended up in a triangle of wreckage with 4 flat tires from all the glass. My car wasn't touched. Wow. And then all of a sudden there was like somebody who hit behind me. They're there, bodies everywhere. And, you're just calling, and I'm doing CPR on one of the kids.
You were doing CPR, bro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to go.
Holy shit.
But yeah, and I just snapped in the thing, grabbed my phone. I'm on 911. My mom was a nurse at the time, so I knew she had a bag in the back. So I sent my buddy, I had a buddy with me. I was like, go in my mom's car, because he was bleeding everywhere. I was going to have to do CPR. I'm like, she's got to have a mask. She has a medical bag.
Yeah.
Bringing everything but her medical bag out of the trunk because he's in full panic mode. Like he's done nothing to this point. I asked him to do one thing, and he was the other end of the spectrum. Like he just couldn't.
He just couldn't operate in the thing.
And that's when, for a while, I thought I was going to be an EMT or something growing up.
Really?
I just found myself in these scenarios. And I knew how to act. Now, I don't know if it was because my parents were nurses. They were very involved in the Red Cross. Mm-hmm. So I was around like firefighting scenes because we would give out donuts and stuff.
Yeah. So you just kind of.
I don't know if it was just, to me, that wasn't as big of a deal. But I found out that I was able to act in those moments. And I think some people can. And I think some people. Now, in your scenario, I don't think I could do, because I'd be like, ooh, a little bigger now. I don't know. I could hop that fence to get over that hippopotamus. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But you also weren't a father. You weren't a father in that story, were you?
No, neither of those.
So do you think now, you may think about your family before you stand on the median and start trying to jimmy doors open? Because
you're right. I think you're right. I think
you do have a responsibility, right? Like you got to make sure that your kids have Dad, Jay.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, I need you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Dad was standing on a median on 476, and something happened to him.
There's a human. If I can do something for another human, that's not at that point going to put me in danger. Like, yeah. But I think. But you're right. I think in that first scenario of the car, I don't get on the hood anymore.
Right. I mean. I like to think that I would do all the right things and help a person. But I also probably, your priority in life is your family, right? Like your kids. So let's say like I knew a guy, he's a man now, but he was in an apartment building in New York City as like an infant that caught on fire. And he was rescued by somebody. Okay. Now, me and this dude worked together. Never told me that story. All right. So his life was saved as a baby. Someone risked their own life to go. Never said that story. Never told me the guy's name. I never even knew it happened. Fast forward, the place we worked, this guy comes in and people just start talking. The guy starts telling a story about how X amount of years ago in New York City, he went in and saved a baby in a burning building. Then the guy I know goes, oh, it wasn't on such and such, and he was like, actually, yeah, it was. Come to find out, this dude just came face to face with the guy who saved him like 20 something years ago.
What?
Yeah. And they're like crying, hugging and crying and taking pictures and shit. But before that, he never mentioned anything about that at all. And I was just thinking, like, could you imagine saving someone's life and they don't even say your name to anyone at all? Like, you risk it all and they don't even like what are the rules?
Was he a baby at the time?
Yeah, he was like an infant.
And I think when those scenarios happen, like, you don't stick around, like, in either of the scenarios before, like, you don't stick around. I think those things, the moments happen and they move on. But you're right. Like, it is weird that, because I think after the fact, people then want to know, like, oh, is the kid okay?
Yeah.
I remember after I did CPR on the one kid, thinking like the whole night I couldn't sleep. I was a wreck the rest of the night. Like, I had a friend come and stay over with me for the rest of the night and hang out. I was like 18 at the time, for a freshman in college. And I just remember, being like distraught after I went to the hospital and got checked out and all of that. Then I just was like, and I wanted to know if the kid was okay. He wasn't. He didn't make it.
He wasn't?
No, he didn't make it. Yeah, he was like, he had been thrown out the back window as it was spinning and like skidded on the pavement. And he was half under the guardrail and half on the road. You know, and as I was doing the compressions, like blood was coming out of his nose, and
oh my god,
dude. He was pretty. Now one of the other guys flew out, but went down a hill into it was all woods, and so he actually ended up surviving. And then the driver ended up with a bad head gush, but he had stayed with the vehicle till it finally.
And they were like 17 years old.
Yeah,
they were like young.
Yeah, I drunk like. You know, I was coming back from Christmas shopping at the mall with my buddy.
Yeah.
And they just were going way too fast, and they didn't anticipate that other lane, or they weren't thinking. And then, and actually the sad thing was the woman who hit behind me, she was the first one I went up to. She was in like a small truck, like an S.10. And she was a surgeon who couldn't do surgery anymore because she couldn't stand long enough to perform procedures anymore.
Wow.
And for years after that, I kept getting interviewed as they were in their lawsuits.
Because you were so then a witness.
Yeah. So like,
holy shit.
So yeah, it was terrible to hear about that for that woman, because she was just, you know, coming home from whatever. And because these kids made an impulsive decision, it forever affected her life, forever affected the one friend who died.
Kids, young people in cars it's scary. Young people in cars.
Like a Camaro. It was like a powerful machine.
Oh yeah, S.2 Camaro probably had the T-top IROC. That's what you call IROC, right? It was an IROC Camaro.
Yep.
T-tops, whatever the fuck, probably just cruising, having a blast, and like blink of an eye, over.
Dude, I have a good friend of mine that I still talk to now. He's like PhD, like just got his PhD, teaches for like several prestigious universities, like as an adjunct. You know, really sharp guy, but like in this period of our lives when we were like, you know, 14, 15, 16, even in the 18, he had this like Skyhawk, and we went like in the backwoods of his house where all these and he was like flying, and it wasn't like paths. It was like there could have been a path where we were going to roll off. I remember being so scared and like trying. He was just laughing, blasting Jim Morrison, like going nuts. And I'm like, I'm going to die right now.
I'm going to die. This is the end. Oscar. Yeah. It's like fucking,
this is,
wow.
Like, he was trying to break on through to the other side.
Yeah. And now he's like smart.
And now he's sober. He's like, you know, just got married. Like,
nice.
He and I just planned. We did a thing in high school. We were like the two boys. It was a small Catholic school. We were the two boys in the honors track. So like we bonded really closely because his mother had passed away, and that's how he moved to the school we were at.
Okay.
So we bonded pretty closely quickly, and now we're still friends. And we were in Spanish class one day, dreaming of like having a sleepover, and we called it Barbecue 99. And we like drew a picture of it and all the activities we were going to do. And
Barbecue 99, baby.
And so he hit me up. He's like, hey, we're July. We're going to go. We just looked it up. It's going to be the 25. We're going to call it Barbecue 24. And it's going to be the 25th anniversary of Barbecue 99.
Nice. So, now, did Barbecue, it was just you two, or were there people?
It was just the two of us. It was just the two of us. We had his dad go and buy stuff for us to grill. And we set up all these, like we played tennis, we played baseball, we played basketball. Like, we just set up like
two dudes growing it out.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Because he was new to the school, and the school was so small that like he didn't get brought in right away to the others. Where I had moved in like fourth grade, so I had been there for 4 or 5 years longer. So I was sort of the bridge, and then I kind of brought him in, and the rest of high school was good. But yeah, 8th and 9th grade.
Neil, are you a little upset that we didn't get an invite to Barbecue 24?
Yeah, hey, we just finalized the plans yesterday. You can come.
Like, it is, right, Neil? Did we get totally nixed out of this thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of rude that he brought it up, but...
Right, you brought it up and they didn't invite us. Like, shit, man.
The only thing I remember about it is we had a radio in the tent that night, and somebody had bought a radio station because they called and asked them to play Louie Louie, and they refused to do it. They're like, we don't play that here. And so the guy then bought the radio station, and then for the entire weekend played every version of Louie Louie that ever existed.
Okay.
So I just remember listening to like 10 different versions of Louie Louie I never knew.
At Barbecue 24.
At Barbecue 99. It was
Barbecue 99.
It was epic. Yeah, we should have had some ladies, but I think we were still They were still 9th, 10th. It was still that age of like, you know, you were sort of checking out girls, but it wasn't on the forefront yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, Is there a movie that starts out like that? The two cowboys doing it.
All right. we were golfers too. He's a big golfer. So
is he? Oh, maybe we could have a golf barbecue 24.
That's what we should do. We'll do the four of us.
Yeah, we'll go play a little golf. Talk about risking your life. I always thought it was weird when I tell you that story about my buddy. But if someone risks their life to save yours, I feel like for the rest of your life, you should let other people know that person hooked you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like.
Oh, I agree. I mean, but how young was he when this happened?
I think he was maybe 3.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it was something where it happened, like, and you were like 10 or 11, I don't know. Like, yeah, maybe there's I give him a pass on that because he might be too young. Like, I don't remember it being 3. Like, even if I had some major event like that, I don't know. You're right, though. I mean, you would hope that there would be a legacy there, or somebody would be like,
well, and see now that there you've unlocked the fear. You risk your life. Maybe you lose your life and you save someone else's, and now your kid's got no dad, and this kid gets to go and do whatever live their life, and they don't tell anybody about you. Like, they don't even say your name. They don't even mention you. Like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Albert Davis, who risked everything. That's what makes me nervous about this whole thing. Like, you got to introduce yourself. Be like, hey, my name is so.
Before I do this, I need to know you're going to mention
exactly.
Like, you sign here. There's a contract here. If I'm going to jump in and help you,
yeah. Like when you're trying to put your arm in that window, you got to be like, yo, you're going to tell people my name is Jay Yoder. Like, you're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I get the part of that where if you're risking that there, but I would say there should be some intrinsic value there. Like the knowledge that you did that you acted in that. That's how I always felt about the two scenarios. Like, even though I know the first guy didn't make it, but the other one, like, I never met that other person or whatever. But like, at least I know if something happens that like the way I would react is the way I hope I would react, because sometimes our intentions and our thoughts don't align with our actions. And that's where people get into trouble. People think the best of themselves, but
they
when
can't
the rubber
do
hits
that.
the road,
Right.
are
They're
you
not there for
on the right path? Are you doing the right things? Like that's a whole other thing. Like, we all want to think the best of ourselves.
Well, and there are a group of individuals in this world who do risk their fucking lives every day.
Every day. And they don't care if anybody says.
Yeah. And people who make poor decisions. That's the other like, so we were in Montana. First of all, if you've ever been to Montana, go to fucking Montana. Beautiful place. My favorite place in the entire world right now is Montana. And we went to this, I believe it's Kootenai Falls. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's really nice, like just rivers and rocks and hills and all that stuff. And right on the sign when you go there, it says, I'm going to ad lib it. Don't do something stupid like get in this water. Because if you do, we got to send people in to go get you. And then on there, it says RIP this person, RIP that person, RIP this person. And those are all the rescuers who went in there to some kid who's like, I dare you to jump. Young people, not even young people make very bad decisions.
Yeah.
I dare you to jump in this. You think you could swim across that. You think it. And then these guys got to go rescue and they lose their lives. And that's like one of those things like someone lost their life. And for you to like try to see if you could swim across something that you didn't have to do. Yeah. And that's, it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. It's kind of shitty.
It's good that they had that. I think that's important because you're not thinking about those things in that moment. It's all ego. It's all you.
It's all fun. It's all, I'm a good swimmer. I can handle this.
Fun Latin fact, ego is EGO is the Latin word for I.
Is it really?
Yep.
There you go.
No, it's like, when you're so self-absorbed in that stuff, it's like, but I think sometimes seeing a memorial, seeing something like that can be impactful. That's the thing about our country versus other countries. Like, we went to St. Martin. The day I knew I was going to marry my wife we were on the St. Martin with two buddies of mine, the four of us. And we you could just go down to the beach whenever, but they had this walk and it was darkness. Like, nobody was going to be there. If we fell off this ledge, nobody was going to be there. And I remember the whole time, and Amanda was cool with it. She was down. My two buddies were we're walking. We called it Devil's Cauldron. We're going through there.
Yeah.
And we just kept calling it the land of whirling blades. Like, nobody's going to be your parent. Things are moving. Like, you're making a choice here. Nobody was going to come rescue us at that moment. But I remember having such a protectiveness of myself of like, oh, where's Amanda? How is she? What's she doing? Yeah. That was like the first time that like I was not thinking about myself. And if I was okay, I was, checking on her. And I remember that being the moment where I kind of was like, oh yeah, this is, I have a familial protection of this.
Right.
I've been dating.
Yeah. I mean, people do make very, very poor decisions, and it affects you. You know what I mean? And then you hope that someday your kids aren't out there making the same dumb, poor decisions.
Dude, but they are. They're gonna.
They're gonna. I know that's the thing. Like we did it. We did such dumb shit. We did such dumb shit. And the fact that you didn't perish, you're just lucky. You're not better than anyone. You're just lucky. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're lucky you didn't slip and none of your friends slipped, because somewhere in another part of the world, kids were doing the exact same thing, but someone slipped and they fell and they died. And that, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I try to talk to my girls. I'm like, don't do this. Never do this. Like I'll forgive you forever. Just don't ever get in a car with a drunk person. Like I say that all the time. You call me if you need anything. Yada, yada, yada. Will they listen? I hope to God they do, but who the fuck knows?
Yeah. It's hard because the minute you start saying don't, like, I feel like you're immediately like pushing towards do, you know what I mean? It's like hard. It's like picking and choosing, but I think there's certain non-negotiables. You're saying like nobody should ever touch you. Nobody outside of when you're with your parents. You should never be in a position where an adult's touching you. Unless it's a physical for a doctor that's been scheduled and has been on the calendar for 4 months.
Right.
But like, so that instance, or like you said, you never get into a vehicle when somebody's not able to operate it, or you can tell that they're not like, there's some absolutisms that hopefully, ring true. Cause you're like, well, we don't want to put them in danger. And you hope all you can do is do your part on that and not do it yourself. Like, I think that's the problem. Sometimes some of these people like saw their dad drive that way, a couple beers or some.
Right. You go to Hooters and Pops is knocking out the Miller Lite pitchers. And then, all right, let's go, kiddos. And they all get in the car. Right. Mom's there too.
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh, see, it's not that bad. You don't want to normalize that shit, because that'll just.
So that's more important than I think the don'ts and that. If you walk the walk, then, and then, we're all going to find out what kind of person we are in the moment. I think at the end of the day.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, here's a good hypothetical. I just thought of this one. All right. All the girls are at a birthday party at so-and-so's house, and then they decide that it's time to go to Sky Zone. So they all get in the mom's minivan and they drive over to Sky Zone. And then you're talking to your daughters or another parent, whatever. And you find out that mom, who was driving the kids to Sky Zone, had a few drinks. You find that out. What would you do in that scenario?
Yeah. Well, that's hard, because at that point it's like, one, they would never go there again would be my first reaction. And then two, my second issue would be that I would probably have a conversation with them and just say, hey, just so you know, this is what's being said. It's over now. I said, I don't know why people would say that or why that got through, but I think I'll be taking my daughter from now on. So I would have to have a conversation with them, I think, or at least let them know that people are saying that about them.
Yeah. Would you give them a chance to go, oh no, that was a non-alcoholic, or that was just club soda with a
lime? Well, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like you gotta, like, if I wasn't there and I didn't know it, like, you have to at least give them the benefit of the doubt that, oh, they were drinking a Liquid Death and someone thought the can looked like, you know what I mean? Because like,
yeah, look like Colt 45.
It looked like, or even like those Celsius drink, like some of those things you're drinking look like, it could look, a Celsius drink totally could look like here, I'm drinking like
a Mike's. It's funny because I thought that was is that booze?
Yeah,
booze.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I thought it was booze.
But like, that's the same style can as a Red Bull, as a whatever else. So it's like, you don't know, and people love controversy. People love drama. So it's just it's hard. Yeah. You got to give the golfer. You got to give the golfer the benefit of the doubt that maybe a bee stung him, and he just
in his backswing. He just pulled it a little bit. It came my way,
and now he's got to deal with this tall drink of water throwing a golf.
You know what the worst part about that was? The girls started calling me a Karen after that. They were like, Yes, no. My girls. So my girls and their one buddy were like, yeah, like you're a Karen, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're like, that was some Karen, and they think I'm now a Karen because I got I threw the golf ball. Here's the funny part about it. I threw the golf ball. I threw the golf ball and it hit a tree and it bounced back to me.
No, it didn't. That's
yeah. So like I'm like, I throw it back. It hits a tree and it rolls back like if you were playing golf and you hit a tree.
That is so funny.
And I was like, fuck, that was embarrassing. Throw it again. And that again. Oh my gosh. I wish I would have done it. Like I wish I'd have been more like in control, but I was just so. The thing about the golf
because you had forethought, you in your mind you had thought about it, and then exactly what you thought you had.
My fear,
exactly happened.
But also with a golf ball, you don't get second chances with a golf ball, bro. If a golf ball hits you in the temple and between the eye, in the eye, and at 140 miles an hour, that's not good. That's not going to end well.
As someone who was just listening to baseball stories of guys running into cement walls back in the 40s and then or also just getting hit by pitches. And I know Jay knows baseball history. Those injuries are severe.
Yeah.
Those are very severe. They're very serious.
So, little Skylar, she's, she gets hit with a thing. That's not, we're not just going to be like, oh, my bad. You know what I mean?
But then, but my inclination is to be like, listen, they're playing golf. They pay a lot of money to play golf. Don't live on a golf. And if you're going to play,
live on a golf course, right?
Play on the other side of
That's what I tell him. Just get out of this field. Go play over there. Yeah. And but the guy didn't even say 4. That was probably like 4 exists for a reason. You yell 4, and I tell my girl, if you hear someone yell 4, just drop to the ground, cover your head. That's it.
Yeah.
And I just got it. They just got to now not play in that field because I don't need to be like really go.
You must have not acknowledged your initial wave or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, in hindsight, there was an overreaction on my part. But also, he went back to the clubhouse and said, hey, there's a crazy dude out there. If you hit a ball in there, and kind of puts everyone on notice and like, be careful on the first tee because there's that guy. That wouldn't bother me either because,
you just want to be acknowledgement. This whole episode has been now whether you're saving a life or you're like throwing a fit on the golf course. Just say my name, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Or yell 4. Just yell 4. Yeah. But in hindsight, I'm actually kind of embarrassed of my behavior. If I could find that guy, I'd probably apologize to him.
See, that's all as well. That maybe we'll get him to come to our live show and
at Soul Joel's.
At Soul Joel's on June 15th, 8 o'clock. That would be great. Tickets are on sale right now at souljoels.com. We're actually going to be with the man, the myth, the legend on the next episode. So
what do you know? Look at that. So line that up perfectly. If that guy shows up, he's going to heckle though, just so you know.
That's all right. Maybe it'll be a chance for reconciliation. So if you're out there,
sir, if you hear this, we're sorry.
Joel's in Pottstown.
He's going to be yelling 4. I'm going to be talking. He's like 4. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
after our comedy set, we're going to bring you up on stage. We're going to figure this out together.
Or maybe we just hit golf balls at him. I could do that.
Yep. So I don't know about you. I'm going to be with Neil Wood coming up on Friday, May 31st in Fishtown.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. So the biggest little comedy show. So check that out at drop10media.com. I think we're just doing one show, 7:30. I think. Am I right, Neil?
Yeah. We got an 8 o'clock show. Doors open at 7:30. Yep.
There it is. And then Al, you got anything coming up?
I don't know the date, but it's
the deal.
It's about 7 days from now.
And now it's not Albert Davis _4 anymore.
It's not that.
It's Albert Davis comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Because people got to know what I do. You know what I mean?
It'll autocorrect at this point if people start putting that in. It's critical.
It's in Allentown. Inkwell is the establishment. I am headlining this particular show with a couple of people I met doing shows at the Mays Theater, and they're having me come back out and do some jokes in front of peeps. And then I guess the other one, Chris Nee has another show. Part of his anxiety tour. That's going to be a killer lineup. I'm on that with some good killers, some Philadelphia and New York comics. It's on the Instagram, so check it out. And just trying to make you laugh.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, good episode.
Great episode.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the dads, for once. Give these daddies a break. And maybe follow, subscribe, like, and comment to the dads on Instagram and YouTube at Seriously Dad Pod. Rate and review Seriously Dad Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Seriously, Dad.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is comedian Neil Wood and
Adam Nutter.
We can't do it like that. You have to sound like a human being. This cut, that's insane. Because I'm realizing how little you're talking.
Adam Nutter.
I could just take, if you just want me to, honestly, you know what we need to do is we just need to get that clean.
Adam Nutter.
And then I'll just pop it in wherever I need to. But
Adam Nutter. Let's do that.
Come listen to the Cult of Us podcast. That's our promo.
Adam Nutter.
A Drop Tent Media Network podcast. Go to droptent.com or search Cult of Us podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.